Welcome to Session Sunday. Hi guys, it's Jack Edwards, and in today's video we're going to be focusing on pressing high. But before we get into this week's video, make sure to leave us a like and subscribe, and if you missed last week's video, click on the link above. Okay, so moving into the first part of this week's session, we're going to be starting off with like a 3v3 practice. We're going to be trying to stop the opposition move up the pitch. But before we get into it, let's have a look at how many players we're working with this week and the equipment that we'll be using. Now, in terms of players for this week, we're going to have 12 outfield players and a goalkeeper. Now, for the first part of the session, you're not going to have a goalkeeper, or you can have a goalkeeper in one of the two groups that you set up. And then in terms of equipment, we're going to be focusing on using balls, bibs and cones, and then you can use small-sided goals as well instead of you can use poles instead of small-sided goals as you move later on to the session. Now, in terms of the setup for this part of the session, the depth in here is going to be 25 yards, okay? And then the width is going to be 20 yards. The players on the outside are trying to score in this goal here, okay, with the players in the middle looking to screen passes and then pressure the ball, okay, when they come into the middle area. So the coach will play the ball into one of the three players. If they bring it into the area, they can be tackled, okay? So that's where we obviously try and focus on our angles and distances, okay? Making sure there's no space to play through, showing the opposition into congested areas. Then this player might play out to here and stay in the middle, okay? So then we're focusing on, obviously, balancing off. This player might even move over to here. They receive the ball here, and then again, we focus on making sure that they can't play into there. And then if they try and play the ball into here, pressure the ball carrier, okay? Make it uncomfortable for them to then look to win the ball back. Now, to have all the players having a go pressing as well, okay, so you can work with obviously all your players. After they've won the ball back, let's say 3 times, okay, they can swap over with the opposite team. But again, when the ball's out here, let's wait for the right areas, okay, so we're forcing the ball away from goal, okay, and again, when it's here, we're making sure it's difficult for them, they can't play down the line, force it back across, and then you might get a player coming into here, so then when you come into the middle, we get across, cover that ground quickly, and then look to win the ball. So again, the main things you want to be focused on is those angles and distances, covering the ground quickly, being aggressive, okay, when you are actually pressing a player, okay, making it uncomfortable for them, okay, and then making sure the distances between the players, okay, are small, so that there's no passes that can come through us, and then they can't score. And again, focusing on the triggers as well, just a little bit, so when a player's in these areas and they receive the ball, okay, nearest player presses, play around that, suffocates the space, okay, and then there's no option to go forward. They had to go come back to here, and then we retain that shape again, make it difficult for them to play through, and then what are we saying then? Okay, you've got to try and switch that play. By the time that play switches, we can travel, get across, okay, on the touch, okay, to make it difficult for the player, and then let's say they try and come into the middle, try and play through, we can block the ball, and then we run the ball back again. We will now move into our first animation before moving on to part 2 of this week's session. Now moving into part 2 of this week's session, we're now moving into the first of our 2 small-sided games. Now the first one is going to be pressing when they're playing it from the back in terms when the keeper's got the ball, okay? So it's going to be 4v3 scenario. Now in terms of the setup, so we're just going to have 30 yards of depth, so just about 12. So if you've got your area that you can use in terms of a foot, half a pitch, you're going to have the width, the depth of your box, and then 12 yards after that. 2 goals in these areas, and then you want to use the width of the box as well, okay? Or if you want to start, you bring it in a little bit slightly, okay? Now, play starts with the keeper, okay, and we've got our front 3 set up. Now what we're trying to do, okay, is stop the opposition playing into the goals. Now, if they play in within 5 passes, they get 2 goals. If they play in between 5 and 10 passes, they get 1 goal. And if they don't get it after their 10 passes, okay, we automatically get as a point as an attacking team. But if we win the ball back, okay, at any time and score, okay, we also get 2 goals, okay? Now, so let's say play starts here, okay? Goes up to the centre-back, okay? We're looking to pressure that ball, okay? So, striker is going to look to put pressure on it, okay? The wide player looks to stay inside, okay? To force that ball to go back, because if they come out here to the full-back, okay, that passes through, okay? We can manage this, okay? We can let that ball travel to that full-back and then put pressure on them, and then we have our forward coming across, our wide player coming across, staying inside. Now, the reason the wide player comes inside here is because if they stay out here, okay, there's a chance for the ball to be played in and momentum gained. If we stay tucked inside here, there's no space for a player to receive in here. And in a game, you might have another player dropping in, okay? So we're looking to win that back here. So force it back again, okay? Then let's say this player gets it here, and then they open out. We're looking to start to drift across, okay? Start to drift across. And then this is a long pass. So by the time this player gets the ball, you're expecting your winger to be on the touch, okay? To show it back inside, okay? And then when we pinch it back, when it comes back in here, okay, can we force it back down one way again? This player might try and make a run, okay? And again, this player here, body shape, make sure they've shown him into congested area. Centre-back might try and dribble with it. This player might try and move on, but our angles are here. Then we can look to pinch the ball, okay, get it back in here and score. So the body shape, the angles, the distances, that tenacity and aggression to win the ball back is massive. Now, as soon as it's finished, we want the 3 attackers to swap over. Okay, we come in here. Now, if the attacks are quite quick, you can say every 2, if you wanted to as well. Then you're going to have players swapping over as well here. So again, you can do every 2 or 3 attacks. These 2 players can swap over with 2 players, and then the next 2 can swap over again. So the full-backs and centre-backs can swap over. So again, massive at the start, our shaping here. Okay, we're narrow, okay? We're not wide. Okay, so, because then if this ball comes into here, we've got to get across quickly, okay? So half and half, half and half. This player gets the ball, striker's there, angles, okay? This player's tucked in, this player's tucked in, making it difficult for them to try and play through, okay? And we focus again when the ball shifts, we're across here, okay? This player's always coming up, we're into this area here, and we're blocking those passes. And then if it does travel to this player, this way you've got to cover the ground quickly, this way you've got to work hard. That's where the player's got to realise, okay? That's where the hard work comes in. So you let that ball travel. Okay, so you can see it, the fullbacks, you can see the fullback for the winger, you know that you can get there, the ball has to travel. That's one of the biggest things what wingers can do, is that they can, when this player's got the ball here, okay, and we've got our shape there, this player can drop off, leaving space for this player then, and then when this player gets it, they're in 2 minds then, okay, can I go and support, but I leave that space, or do I stay here and let them travel, whereas this is why they've got to stay inside, okay, let that ball travel, okay, and when this ball travels here, the striker comes across, okay, we're doing the job to delay that, okay? The fullback's wide, okay, we can see that when it gets to them, get there, stop any forward momentum, and then we look to cut the pitch off, then we can even try and say, okay, they try and play a pass across, we intercept, and then we finish. So it's discipline as well, it's communication, it's organising with the players, okay? It's working hard to win the ball back high, and then look to score. We will now move into our next animation, before moving on to the final part of this week's session. Okay, now moving into the final part of this week's session. We're now moving into our second small-sided game. Now, this one's going to be focusing on having our midfield behind the front 3 to support the press. Now, in terms of the setup, okay, we're going to go with 40 yards of total depth. Okay, so you obviously have your box in here, and then between the box and the 40 yards in there, with a goal there. So if you don't have small-sided goals, you can just use poles, okay, to set out an area. Now, in terms of the width, okay, so obviously you can change this on an actual pitch, okay? So you're just going to have a little bit of space just outside the box, okay, for the fullbacks, okay? So this might come a little bit further over, okay, same the other side. So if you've got a half a pitch, you want your full box there, and then about 5 yards outside, and then you just want to have this gap in here, okay, for the fullbacks to be in, okay, so they can start just inside the box and just go outside the box, and then you have your central area. Now, we want their 2 midfielders, one to be dropping in, one to be staying high. So for our midfielders, we're just focusing on supporting the press. When the ball goes wide, stopping balls inside. Ball will start with the keeper. Centre-backs are split, full-backs are wide. Our front 3 are narrow. So what we're saying is we defend central areas until the ball goes wide. So centre-back can get it, okay. Forwards here, okay, we're stopping that in there. So again, we're in here, okay, and the players are looking to lock onto that with our deepest line midfielder, okay, doing that job there. Now, if this player opens out here, the centre-back, and plays to the right back, okay, then we want pressure on the ball from the full-back with the midfielder inside, and look the way we come into here. So if this player looks to drop into there, we've got our other midfielder dropping into here. So the far side midfielder will lock onto that if it comes on, okay, but we're still screening it for now. Forwards in here, wide players there, okay, and then they've got their players here. Could come back to this centre-back, okay, then strikers there, wingers back inside. We're still staying tucked in, okay, and again, this player might be looking to drop in. This player's looking to make movement, so this is where we've got to talk and communicate as a midfield three to have rotation in terms of when their movement comes. Centre-back gets it, okay, we're here, we're all in here again, okay, and then we're stopping that ball in. These players are sensing it, okay, and then this player might open out, plays it here. By the time we get there, they might have found the first time pass, which happens, okay? Now, if they play into this area here, this way we want to be aggressive and look to pressure the ball. Okay, the midfield three there, got our support from our wide players, and then we're looking to say, okay, where's your option to play out? There isn't one. We can try and win the ball, okay? We play forward quickly and score. So that's one of the main things. When we win the ball back, okay, we're looking to convert our chances. Okay, we're winning the ball high up the pitch, okay, for the reason so that we're a smaller distance away from the opposition's goal. So when we win it back, okay, be confident, get the head up, okay, have composure to play into the final third, into the box, and then look to score. Then we set up and go again. So again, making sure our midfield three are behind, okay, the front three. Okay, we're protecting that ball from stopping going into the centre midfielder. Okay, we get it here. Okay, comes to the side. Then again, wide players there. Look at the way we just balanced off just inside the pitch. Okay, you can see that shape. It's difficult for the opposition to try and play through. They might play a big long switch. Like again, let it travel. Then we get out there. Okay, we get goal side. Okay, this player's in here. If this player looks to drop in again, this is where we communicate, but our striker's there. Okay, there's the balance again. Comes back to the centre-back. They might take a touch the same side. There's a trigger for us, okay? You've got the player taking the ball into a space where it's a congested area. Okay, then we can look to pinch the ball back. And then what do? Gamble into the box to try and score. Now, when we focus on our pressing triggers, okay, we're focusing obviously a bad touch, okay, a bad pass, a long pass, back to goal as well. And then again, targeted players, okay, and in congested areas. So if you're playing against a team and their right back's the weakest player, okay, you say to your left winger, when he gets the ball, we want to pressure them. Okay, if the right centre back's the strongest player, you're looking to cut his options. So if the right centre back's the strongest player, okay, but the right back is the weakest player, you want to play, okay, to that right back. Okay, so you're saying to this player here, stay tucked in, okay, don't be out here, stay tucked in as a team, striker, cut off the other side, and then when this player gets it, you go, okay, you cut the pass, we're playing in and we stay in narrow here. Because if he hasn't got the ability to open out and play a pass, that's when we can pressure and target that player to then score. So that's something you can work on with your players as well, when you're obviously analysing opposition players, okay, to then work out ways to try and win the ball off certain players. We'll now move into our final animation before concluding this week's session. Thanks for watching this week's video. Don't forget to head over to our website where you can sign up to view over 900 session plans like this. And we'll see you next week for another Session Sunday.